Guess what? I got a fever, and the only prescription is more coins. Nope, I messed up. Hold on. I'm not ready. There it is. Hey, how are you? I was going to do a little video about getting started in the hobby, but we got some breaking news first. I got to take you over to the screen. Wait for it here. Let's see. I got to find it. That's not it. Nope, wait. I'm not ready. I need to start over. It's gone. I've almost got it. Here it is. We got our first look at the privy mark on that quarter. Let's see. There's the screen. Okay, look, there it is. The V75, the little privy mark that's going to be on these new state quarters. That's it. Gosh, the mint has let us down again. That's the best you can do? This is our government doing this. Okay, well, it's kind of plain, but, well, we'll see it soon enough. Give it another, what, probably 2 or 3 more weeks out, and we'll have that. What can you do? Okay, let me fix my screen because I've messed it up again. Okay, this will only be a few minutes here. No, okay, we can leave that up. Don't need that. Don't need this. There, I can see the chat again. Let's check it out. Did you see it? Let me click some more buttons here. There, okay. All right. They always tell you when you start to lose your mind, they say, you should get a hobby. Well, how about coin collecting? That's a good hobby. People do it all the time. It's not so nuts, really. To tell the truth, it's a $4 billion industry nationwide each year. I mean, it's not just a little thing. It's freaking huge. People get these coins and they just they tear it out. What have I got here? How do you get started in coin collecting? Well, you know, Jeff Stanley just did a video talking about these folders, and it's a great way to get started, right? This will give you, let me open this up here and go over to this video. There. This will give you an objective, right? This is a little folder. You can get these at the Hobby Lobby, right? Sometimes we give them away on this show. And they'll have a slot for every date, every mint mark, because you got all sorts of different pennies. It's not just the brand new ones. Let's see here. Let me just spill some out on the table here. Here's a whole bunch of pennies. Nice shiny ones, right? There's some more in there. Come out. There. Okay, and I got a scope so we can look at them real close up. I mean, there's pennies, there's nickels, there's those little ones, there's quarters, there's all kinds of quarters out there. Let's see, you got the ones with George Washington on it, but they got different reverse styles. They got them with a bird, right? And they got one for every state. Then they got them for all these national parks. That's what they're doing right now. Then you got the pennies, right? They got the new ones with a shield on it. It's kind of a dull design. A little older, they have this, right? 2009, they got 4 different designs on them. But if we look real close, we're going to see a little date. Aha. Okay, we won't see it with that camera. Let me get over to a different camera here. Man, I got more cameras and coins around here. That's not it. Is it in there? Yep, it's in there, just not focused. Okay, let's take a closer look. Closer. Closer. There it is. I had to pick the spottiest one. Oh, that's junk. Get this out of here. All right. Keep the best and to hell with the rest. That one's kind of spotty. Here's a shiny piece. Okay. What you got here? It's well, this is a 2008. Every year, the mint comes out with new coinage, right? They got to keep the banks full. They got to keep the economy running. That's their job, is to create coins for circulation. Well, each year, they change the date on the darn things. They say, oh, throw out all those old dies. We're going to make new ones. We're going to have the new date on it. It's a traditional thing. Let me get a pointer here. And it'll be in the same spot on just about every date, every series. And sometimes you have a mint mark because we produce coins mainly in Philadelphia, Denver. Is that a Denver? I need a Denver. Here's one. San Francisco. Right? West Point makes some coins. And if you find a W mint mark, well, that's probably going to be a keeper. Here's one right here. A little mint mark. D for Denver. Denver is the busiest mint in the world, and we don't only make our own coins; we make coinage for, I mean, countries all over the world. Right? They order up, say, "Hey, yeah, give me like a pepperoni large with extra mushrooms and 15 million francs or whatever they call up and say." Okay, well, they have different, recipes for the metals that go into the coins and different sizes and shapes. And they'll make coins for any country, whatever you like. Call them up and say, yeah, this is what I want. I want 2.5 grams of 95% nickel or whatever. And they'll make them for you. There's entire catalogs and books. I've got one around here somewhere that tells you what the mint has made throughout the years. But we're going to look at U.S. coins because collecting U.S. coins is probably the most popular thing, if that's your thing. It's the most popular coin to be collected in the world, really. And out of all the stuff we make, the pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, halves, dollars, 2 cents, 3 cents, half cents, 20 cents, gold bullion, where we got some silver bullion here somewhere. Here we go. Eagles, home. The most collected coin in the entire world ever. I can't get these out of the bag. Let me try to get that out. Is not the big giant silver, although they're quite nice, really. They're beautiful. 1 ounce of silver here. We got gold coins. The most collected coin in the world, in the history of mankind, is the lowly Lincoln penny. Believe it or not, it is. They're collected because, well, they're inexpensive, and there's lots of them. So what do you do when you collect coins? Well, gosh, there is no right or wrong way to collect coins. You can collect stuff, weird stuff, neat stuff, stuff you don't have, right? Sometimes they'll go and collect, they get a shiny penny, they'll get a nickel, they'll get $50, they get American coins, they get Canadian coins, they get British, one of every nation. That's pretty cool all by itself. You can get a series. Well, that's kind of neat. You get all the coins produced for every year, every date, every mint mark from a particular series. And Lincoln Cents are a great one to work with. These folders they put out, they're $4 or $5. And you get 3 or 4 of these folders, and you can put together a heck of a collection. There we go. That's got 3 pages in there. These fit about 90 or so. Nickels, not so many. Dimes, about the same. Quarters, fewer because they're bigger. So we get 4 across. But if you collect every date and every mint mark that's made for circulation, we're not going to talk about the proof strikes, the special strikes, varieties, errors, right? Large dates, small dates, just the regular old run-of-the-mill, out-of-your-pocket change coins. You'd need about 130 of them just for the memorial pennies, right? Just for the Lincolns with the memorial cent on the back. Where is it? There it is. That's a Lincoln Memorial. Lincoln was born and raised here, as a matter of fact, right there in Washington. Well, actually, I think it was in Kentucky, is where he was born. And they went in with some trucks and dug up this thing and moved it to Washington, D.C., and that's where it is now. And now they call it the Lincoln Memorial. They've improved it since then. They got marble and granite and this big giant statue of Lincoln. And where'd my pointy stick go? I'm not ready. There you go. That's a memorial of Lincoln. What is that, like 16 feet tall in reality? Yeah, no fooling. There it is. Okay. Well, let's see. They started making these in 1909, 111 years ago. And they did 1909 because, well, it's 100 years after Lincoln was born in 1809. Okay, they ran them with a wheat reverse. I'm sure I got one of those here somewhere. Let's see. No, I don't have a thing. I'm sure there's some in here. Yep, here we go. The old style, the original design on these pennies had this, whereas wheat stalks, there you see them on the side, is wheat. It's a kind of a common thing to have on the back of a low value coin because, well, it's a common item. Wheat. It's what feeds the world. And they call this the wheat penny. You got 1 cent, United States of America. Kind of a simple design, simple elegance. E pluribus unum, which means many from one, or from one, many. Depends on how you decipher that. After 50 years of production of the wheat penny, they went on to this, the memorial penny. So in 1959, the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, they put the memorial on the back. After, let's see, Another 50 years went by. This is the wrong book. Where's the right book? Here's one. For 2009, they put out several different reverse designs. Kept the front the same, right? Little tiny changes over the years. Make his head bigger, sharpen the bow tie, or change his vest, right? Little design changes. But in 2009, let me get this one in here. You had 4 different designs. Here he is. So you have him in a log cabin. Well, you don't actually see Lincoln. This is the formative years where he's sitting on a log studying his law books. There's another design that has, he's a statesman standing in front of the Illinois Capitol. And then there's the presidency, which just shows the Capitol building. Kind of neat. Let's see, here's one right here. I've got a presidency. At the ready. We can see that one. Which way is up? This way's up. Aha. So in this one series, just the Lincoln cents, they span 110 years, right? You've got well over 300 different dates and mint marks and design varieties to work with. And then before you even get to such things as satins and proofs, we're just going to talk about going through pocket change, if I can get that put away, and putting together a set. A set is where you collect every darn one of them. Aha, a series set, every one of the series. This is incomplete, as you can say. This goes from what, 1941 to 1974. There, look how shiny those are. All right. 130 just for the memorial pennies, for the P, the D, and the S. There's only 7 S mint. Where'd that one go with the mint mark? There's only 7 Lincoln cents that have an S mint mark that were made for circulation that have the memorial design on the back. Is that true? Yeah. That's not the one I want to show. There it is. So instead of a D, it has an S for San Francisco, which is one of our older mints. It's been around for over 100 years. They were originally done in San Francisco and Philadelphia. In 1911, they started making them in Denver. In some years, they didn't make them in some of the mints. 1959, they were only making them in Denver and Philadelphia. In 1968, they started making them in San Francisco again, and they ran them there for 7 years. So 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, I'm out of fingers, 73 and 74, they made them at San Francisco. So 7, that's it. That's all. Now, they made more in different finishes, proof, for example, and they made satin finishes, but not an S. So you're looking at 1959 to 2020, the P's and the D's and a few S's. I'm going to give you a checklist real quick. I wonder if I have that still up here. Here it is. Screened? Yep, there it is. So if you have a whole list of every darn one of them, there you go. 1909, they started with a VDB. That's the initials of the guy who designed it, Victor David Brenner. Right? And they got them in proof and matte proof. And here's SVDB. Here's the 1909 without the VDB. And they continue on for decades and decades and decades. Good Lord. Sometimes they make more, sometimes they make less. After World War II, production really increased. And nowadays they're making billions and billions of the darn things. 1982, they made more of these Lincoln pennies than any other coin ever in the history of the world. Here we go. With 10 billion of them without the mint mark. And those were produced actually at Philadelphia as well as West Point. Yeah, West Point made pennies. They've been making them since the 70s, but not with the mint mark. Kind of neat there. So we're trying to narrow down which ones were the West Point struck coins that have no mint mark. But that's going to be difficult to prove. We're working on it. Give us time. These checklists are available to Patreon subscribers. I'll try to put the link down below in the description. It'll be there after the video. But there you go. You've got 300 and some odd different coins. And if you just go with the business strikes, the memorials, and the modern coins, it's about 150. Really? Yeah, it's a lot. It's huge. Every year, it's 2 more at least, sometimes 3. There's one date, 2017, where they put the P mint mark on the coin because that was the 225th anniversary of the Philadelphia Mint. So they commemorated by putting a P on the pennies. And I'm sure there's one around here somewhere. Let's see. I'll go to my collection here. Let's see if I got one. I bet you I do. Nah, I probably took it out, looked at it, never put it back in. Okay, no matter. We'll get in here and take a look. What sorts of coins are worth collecting? What does that mean by worth collecting? Some of these things, because of their low mintage, get into some pretty valuable state, some pretty valuable coins. If the rarity is sufficient on these Lincoln pennies, yeah, they can get into hundreds and thousands of dollars. If they are the tip top, the very finest, the best ever made or best surviving specimens for a particular date and mint mark, they can be worth literally tens of thousands of dollars. There are some, right, just a very few, and you probably don't have them, that are worth millions. Millions? People pay millions of dollars for pennies? Yeah, not very often, but when they do, dude, they open up those checkbooks big. Back in 1943, the copper was taken out. They needed that for the war effort, so they made the pennies out of steel. Yet, somehow, you figure somebody sweeping a floor, cleaning a piece of equipment, and they found a couple of the blanks, and just threw them in the hopper, and they got minted. They found some of these copper pennies dated 1943 and 1943D, but they're supposed to be out of steel. Well, there's only a handful of them, but just the combination of the special metal being used, and well, the fact that it's a mistake, they're worth a fortune, dude. I mean, it's like finding a house in your pocket change. It doesn't happen very often. You probably won't find these, but no matter. Let's have a look at this. What we're looking for is the best. Really, it's not the quantity of coins; it's the quality of coins. You can take a look at these things, and sometimes they're pretty good. They look beautiful, right? But you're going to find little issues on them. You'll find blemishes. You'll find marks. Let's see what we got here, and I get a pointer. You'll find spots. Oh, curses, the spots. There they are. And they'll rub against each other. Sometimes when they make the darn things, they come out of the mint where they're pressed between a couple of dies, and they fall into a hopper, right? Just a big, bucket. And they take those and throw them in another hopper so they get counted up and put into bags. And just hitting each other, you get little marks. Here's one on the shoulder. Let's see what this one is. I'm sure we can find a mark here and there. And these are called contact marks. There's a little one right below the stairs. You'll see them around here. There's a little blemish up here. Well, they're less desirable. The grade of the coin is what's important to really give it value. It may not be particularly valuable in a worn out, been circulated around, been passed around for 50 years like this guy, right? See, he's losing a lot of detail. His head's kind of flat. Got a lot of these contact marks or bag marks or circulation marks. You get dings in the rim. How awful. Okay, this is 1945, made at Denver. They made like 1 billion of them that year. What's this? That's a piece of potato chip, I think. You get all this stuff in circulation. They get brown, they get spotty. They're made out of copper for the most part. And copper is a highly reactive metal. Over the years, they'll darken just from, the salt in the sweat on your hands. Even if it's just, you just wash your hands. They go into your pockets where they're mixed with other coins and your car keys and a frog or whatever you put in your pocket, right? And they pick up a little toning, and they become quite brown. Back in the day, they used to make the pennies up until, let's see, 1857. They made them out of 100% copper. Well, copper's a little soft, right? There you go. You get the contact marks and chunks and dings and scratches and gouges. But back in the day, those old pure copper beasties, dude, they got chocolate, dark chocolate, and almost black. They're beautiful. Really, they are. Now, they kept them in copper until 1857 when they started making those Flying Eagle sets. Did we just have one of those? I thought I just had one on the desk here. Let me move some stuff. We'll give you the history of the penny. What's this one? Here's one. Here's a Flying Eagle cent. They made these out of copper and nickel, a blend. So they also shrunk them down to a lot smaller. Here it is. This one they made upside down. So I'll turn it around for you. There you go. And they put a Flying Eagle on there. There he is. Well, he wasn't the best looking eagle, and the population was kind of disappointed that they shrunk the coin from the size of almost a half a dollar down to the size of this little thing. Let me give you an idea of the size here. There it is. That's the Flying Eagle set. And the color's kind of a whitish copper because it's copper nickel, right? And they shrunk that size down again in 1864 and went to the 3.11 gram, and the current the recipe they used for a long time, which was 95% copper with 3% zinc and 2% tin. And they ran that recipe until 1962, except for 1943 when they did the steels, right? Now in 1962 they took out the tin, so now it's a French bronze is what it was called. In 1982 they changed it all together, and now we have the modern coins, which are actually a little lighter at 2.5 grams. They make a thudding sound, and it's a zinc core with just a plating of copper on the outside, so it's almost entirely, it's like 98% zinc. Well, they do that because the cost of making the coins keeps rising, whereas the face value is 1 penny. It's always flat. So, just being the base coinage, they're going to encounter the problem of inflationary ingredients coupled with a flat face value. Let's see. Here we go. Here's Lincoln on a log. There he is. That's one of the 2009 designs. Look how shiny that is. Okay, what we're looking for are coins that have no flaws, no blemishes, no spots, no nicks, no dings. We're looking for a rim right around here that is not dinged up, is not bent up. A nice, perfectly round coin. Aha. This has a line going through it. Well, that's not a damage or a mark. That's actually a product of the zinc core. Makes little blisters sometimes. That's called a linear plating blister is what that is. And it's one of the effects of trying to copper plate a piece of zinc. Okay, but here we got a pretty good example. There are some tiny little spots on here. Nowadays, because they're plated, it's an electroplating. They have to rinse that off. They got to rinse away the electroplating solution, and we're left with these most awful little spots. They're tiny, little rinse spots. It's like if you put your wine glasses in the dishwasher, like with the pan that you roasted the pork in. Sometimes you get little rinse spots on your glasses. It's a darn shame. Well, if you can find the coins that have no blemishes, they're going to be worth more, ideally. Now, you can figure it takes 50 years or more for most of these coins to start to gain value over face value when they're circulated. Something like this 1945 over here. There you go. That's probably good for like, a nickel. You're not going to sell that for a nickel. It'll cost you $3 to ship the thing. Come on. But people get them in volume so they can look at them and play with them and roll around them and make sandwiches and lick them. And what they do is hunt for varieties and stuff. And they do different things with them. Assemble sets. The older you get, the more worn they typically will be. But you can find brilliant uncirculated examples of modern coins still in circulation. As you go back in time, trying to complete your set one further year back, you're going to have to start buying them because you're not going to find them in circulation. You're not going to find them in pocket change. And the top quality examples, that's when they start to really bring the money, let me tell you. But if you can put together a set where all the coins are just cherry red, yeah, it's beautiful. Let me put this over here so we can see. Let's see. Home. There you go. So what you got here, these are 60s and 70s in this particular page. There's one whole, that's an empty slot, so you can flip one upside down and show the back. There you go. But can you find these in circulation? Sometimes. They're few and far between, but you can find some pretty darn cherry examples. There'll be full luster for sure, but sometimes they have a little tiny bit of wear. Well, if you go through enough pennies, right, you can put together all the modern ones with a shield on the back. Let's see if I got one of those. No, there's a log cabin. I'm sure I have a shield in here. I got a bunch here. I might be hard pressed to find a shield. Gosh, I got enough of them, I tell you, on the desk. Okay. No matter. We'll get back to here. So you get every date and every mint mark. That's a challenge all by itself. Now, people will go to the bank, right? They'll say, hey, can I get a box of pennies? And it's $25, right? And you get 50 rolls of pennies in a big 37-pound, but no, 17-pound box. And they take them home and they start going through them one coin at a time. Some folks will sort them out by date, right? So they can pick out the best for each date and put that one in their collection. Okay, and then they'll take them back and go to a different bank. If you're doing this, if you're doing coin roll hunting, you can go to a different bank to take them back. Because I hate it when you say, here's some pennies. Can I get 25 pennies? Because they just want to give you the same darn things back. It costs the bank about $5 for a box of those coins, be it, nickels, dimes, quarters, or whatever you're going through. And the banks just hate to spend $5, let me tell you. They're in the business of making money, not selling it for no profit. Okay, but you can do it. People do it all the time. It's good to have two banks so you can pick up at one bank, drop off at another. If you have one bank in town but two branches, you got a good chance. Works out pretty well. Otherwise, I'd suggest having one account at one bank for your personal, the household. You pay your light bill, you pay the rent, you write your car payment out of that, and have another account at a different bank so you can use that for your coin enterprise. Because some people get into it, they buy and sell coins, and they pick up a few dollars, and it pays for their collection, right? It pays for their habit, if you will. We buy things like folders, right? We buy those. We buy tubes. You can buy tubes of pennies. Here you go. Here's a whole roll of 1961 D. Brilliant. They're great. I love them. Different styles of tubes. They buy the flips that you put them in, print up paper so they can have their own little, tell you what it is here. They put up the date and the mint mark and how many were made and what it is. There you go. There's a 2015 S. Kind of neat. There's an S mint mark. I knew I'd have one on the desk. So this one was made in San Francisco. That's their S mint mark. Pretty slick. There's a George Washington quarter, pretty new. What you got here? This is the British surrender. So this is a 2015. You got 50 different designs for the states, for the parks. Then you have the DC and Territories quarter. So you get 56 of the ATB, America the Beautiful collection. 56 more for the states and territories. How many are there for quarters? Hundreds. Hundreds of quarters. Quarters go back to 1932, which is 200 years after George Washington was born. Geez, if you don't like pennies, well, hunt through quarters. Not find quarters if you're getting those by the roll at the bank. They're a lot easier to get rid of than the pennies. Nobody wants to take, $17 worth of pennies when you put gas in your car. But the gas stations, they got no problems if you pay with, a couple of rolls of quarters. They're used to it. Geez, people get into a pinch, they spend that pocket change. But you get to a point where you start running out of coins you can find in circulation because you've completed your book. You've filled up your album, and you're not finding the 50s and the 40s in the numbers that you like to get good quality coins. And people start to buy coins and sell the darn thing so they can make a little bit of profit so they can buy those older coins and keep going back in time. Really, there's no end to your collection. But I would recommend, get a bunch of pennies. I don't care where you get them. Somebody at work and they got a jar. They get those big water jugs. They fill them up with pennies. They're good for a few $100. And just get the best and finest of every date and every mint mark. And when you get them all, just go back a year. Get another year older. Seriously, I've done that for years. Look how old I am now. Let me catch up on chat real quick because we got a live stream in progress. There, had to catch up. I see people. Look at that. Flawed Finder, Blues Coins, Nathan Matsky, Dave Blakely, Jeff Stanley. Try to find two banks that use two different armored car services. Ooh, outstanding tip. The banks get their coins from armored car companies, right? The companies that handle the bulk currency. They get big safes. They get guys with guns. They get trucks with solid tires. And they're out there. Brinks, for example, is one of these armored car companies. And they transfer coins from bank to bank, right? They take the bags from the coin stars at the supermarket. They take them home. They roll them up. They got machines they just dump them into. Automatically fills the boxes. It's beautiful. Yep. Now there's customer wrapped rolls where the people at home, like me, for example, would wrap up some rolls and take them back to the bank. You're going to find a better chance in customer wrapped rolls of getting those older coins, the out of date coins, right, rather than the new ones, because sometimes people don't know what they have and they just send it back to the bank right around Christmas time, right around January, December. You get a lot of great stuff in those rolls because people have gone through, you know, their sock drawers and their tool chests, getting every old penny they can to pay off those credit card bills for Christmas. You are fresh but crusty. Sometimes I'm more fresh and sometimes I'm more crusty. This is a hobby that it can take your time. I mean, seriously, I've been collecting for over 40 years. This is the sort of hobby that will last a lifetime. And you might never fill a complete set. Some of these Lincoln pennies, 1914 Denver, for example, they get into a couple of $100 for something that's beat up. Wow. And if you want to get all shiny, brand new red, it's going to start costing some money at some point. Geez. What if you do manage to complete a set? Well, there's if you get into the hobby, you're going to find there's a sense of accomplishment found in completing a set. A simple one would be just the 1959 to what year is this? 2020 already? Good Lord. Just the memorial pennies, just the shield pennies, right? If you look at the shield pennies, they've been making them since 2010. You got P and you got D. So you should have, being this is the 11th year, you should have 22. But in 2009, you got 4 designs. So 4 at Philadelphia, 4 at Denver. Gee, so already in 11 years, you got to have like something like 30 different pennies. I don't know. I'd have to count. I recently found a die break series in a roll of 2018. It's crazy, like 23 pennies in a row that were from the beginning of a break. It's wild. Yeah, as you really get into the hobby, you're going to find in time that there are differences between coins of the same date. Little subtle differences. For example, there might be a crack appeared in the die. So you'd have a little line running. Oh, on 2009, there's a good one, runs into the boot, right? You find little chips will fall out or break off of the die. So you have a blob of metal sometimes in the same place. A good one to look for is the BIE, for example, where there's a blob of metal between the B and the E. It's a piece of the die broke off, so you have a die chip is all that is. And they draw, they're good for a couple of bucks. And the better the condition, right, if it looks like this instead of that, the better condition, the more they're worth. Jeff says, I never refuse those customer wrapped rolls. Sometimes they're searched and sometimes they're rolled up from Grandpa's 5-gallon paint bucket he kept next to his wallet and keys. You know how long it takes to fill up a 5-gallon paint bucket? Good Lord, decades sometimes. In case you got to pay the light bill, you're in that bucket. There are coins out there that are in stashes. Just, Grandpa had a barrel of pennies. He just saved his pennies and passed away, and it's been in the back corner of grandmother's sewing room, for the past 30 years. And if it took him 30 years to fill that, you could very well find some beautiful shaped coins that are 40, 50, 60 years old. No problem. How long would it take you to complete a collection? It kind of depends on the time you put in. Geez, if you go through a box of pennies, you'll probably get most of the memorials. You'll be missing some here and there, especially those S's. You might find one or two of the S mint marks from the 60s and 70s. You might not get all the dates that are bright and shiny red. Some of them are going to be, kind of crusty and crumpy and brown and screwed up. But you go through another box, you're going to get better ones of a lot of those dates. You might find some that you don't have in your collection yet. The trick is to fill those holes. Even if it's a junky one, it's nice to have that hole filled. Because who wants to look at a folder and, oh my gosh, it's not yet complete? Part of the joy of the hobby is the hunt. You go through those old rolls of pennies from the bank, and you find coins that are 70, 80, and 100 years old. It happens all the time. You're not going to scoop them up by the handful, but people find Indian pennies in some of these. They're the same size, and they still circulate. People don't know what they have. They spend them. Well, now you have Indian pennies coming back into circulation. And that's what the design was before these Lincolns came out. I got an Indian here somewhere. Here's one. Let me show you what this looks like. After that eagle, that flying eagle penny, which I got right here. There he is. There's the flying eagle. They made those for 3 years, 1856, 57, and 58. Right? But the 56s, they only made like 600 of them, so those are kind of rare. Starting in 59, they made the Indian. Here it is. This was designed by a guy named James Longacre. And the legend says that this girl with the Indian headdress, that's his daughter. Well, what better way to immortalize your loved one than to put their picture on a penny? And great design here. This is really an American classic. It's simple, it's elegant. United States of America, the Indian penny, Liberty on a headdress. United States of America. You got all these denticles, all these little teeth all around the design. The date at the bottom. We look at the back, we have an oak leaf, an oak wreath. Here we go. And the Union shield, right? 1 cent. And the leaves are tied together with arrows and a ribbon at the bottom. Wonderful classic design. Something like this, in this kind of shape, this is probably 20, 25 bucks. You can get these that are just brilliant, bright red like these, like the modern coins. But they're going to cost a little bit more, let me tell you. They can get into hundreds. You see diamonds? Bigfoot is pretty excited. Where is it? I've lost the darn thing. There you go. You get little diamonds on the ribbon that's tying their headdress onto her head. Yeah, that's a better example. The high points on these coins tend to wear off first. So if you got an old penny, let's see, this one, you see the cheek starts to wear off first. The chin, right, the jawline, the tip of the bow tie. That's where you start to lose detail first. The top of the vest, above the ear. So there are grades. The more wear, the lower the grade. There's a hole. Dude, it's a deep rabbit hole if you want to get into it. People will take these things and analyze them and look at them and study them like they're gemstones. Because that little bit of detail on the wheat makes all the difference. If you got one with all the lines, it's going to be probably worth more. Right? If you got a rare date and it's got all the lines and a good cheekbone and his bow tie's right and it's got some original luster, it's going to be worth more. And over time, these things, you can pick them up. I used to get the pennies here, the wheat pennies. I used to get those for $60 to $70 for a 5,000 count bag, right? I mean, a sack of the darn things. 5,000 pennies. I pay $50 to $70, and the price gradually went up over the years, up and up and up. And now they're going for $150 to $225 for a bag of 5,000. But a lot of the good dates, right? The early teens, the mint marks before, the 40s, a lot of the S mints, they've been picked out little by little over the years. It's getting tougher and tougher and tougher to complete a collection of these. Oh, wow, that's got some damage. Oh, then you got the problem coins. You got coins that have spots. You got them that they got a lot of wear. They got, a hole drilled into them. Somebody carved his name into them. It's bent, right? Bent through a fire and it's all black and pink and nasty and gross, or You know, there's stuff stuck to it, like glue. They used to take the pennies and stick them to an envelope, right, and send it back and forth. So it was like a promotional thing. Here's a penny back on your purchase of Spam. Oh, thank you. People get really excited about it. Well, the better condition, the more valuable, but it does take time. But pennies have steadily uh, increased over time. There's pennies you used to get these things. These old Indians, I used to get these for 50 cents a piece, right? In great condition, they were a little more, but junkers were 50 cents. This old thing, back when I started, something like this in fine condition would run me $7. Of course, it took me 2.5 hours to earn $7. Hmm. So it's still kind of expensive. Now this thing, you know, you're talking 35, 40, 50 bucks when you get into that. 50 bucks for a penny? Yeah. Over time, they made a lot of them, but over time you lose them, right? They fall in the trash. It falls out of your pocket when you're out playing football, right? They get dropped into the garbage disposal. Somebody's painting a wall and they stick a penny on it to, you know, to mark when they built it, or put in concrete on the stairs. And they get beat up and end up being either destroyed altogether, being thrown away accidentally, and just plain lost to time. You drop it, it falls between the boards and the steps. You never get that penny back. So we lose the darn things. For 1857, let me take a look at that coin collector checklist. Let me give you an idea of what's going on. Let's see. Flying Eagle head. Flying Eagle pennies right here, 1857. They produced 17,450. 17,450,000. They made a lot of the darn things. Nowadays, it's estimated there are approximately 12,000 surviving. Well, how does that work out? If you got 2 million people collecting coins, and there's only 12,000 of these things that exist, wow, that's a whole lot of people going to be going without. And that reduction in surviving population over time is part of the reason why these coins become more valuable. People would like to have a complete set. Here's the Indian pennies. I got a 1907 in front of me. Let's see, they made 108 million of them in 1907. We got one right here, and there's about 8,800 surviving specimens. Nope, not this one. 8,000 surviving specimens. So looking at those numbers, there are more of these Flying Eagle cents at 17,000 than there are 1907 Indians. Really? Well, the numbers are based on sales figures, auction records, advertising counts. It's hard to come up with an exact figure, but you can look and see, you know, auction records and see how many are trading each year, and use that as a basis to estimate a surviving population. There it is. But there's not too many of these at all. 2009, dude, there's tens of billions, hundreds of millions. There's lots of them out there. So be picky. Why would you get one that's old and beat up, you know, for this date? The better condition for each date, that's the stuff to collect. You can go back before the Flying Eagles, there were large cents. And there's several designs on those. You get into these, the capped Liberty. You get the matron head, the coronet Liberty. You get the draped bust. They're beautiful things. You get the really old coins with that raving hair, right? And they get into the, you know, thousands and tens of thousands real easy because they've been lost to time. There's only hundreds, perhaps, surviving specimens. Well, if you want to get into it, it's a great hobby. There's lots of people doing it. I recommend it. You can do it alone at home. And if you're just going through pocket change and you want one of every date, you're looking at $2, and you have a heck of a great collection. You're going to get into storage, right? Oh, flips are handy. There's a couple of different kinds of flips. There's plastic, there's cardboard. Let's see. I got a cardboard here somewhere. I'm sure of it. There we go. That's cardboard with Mylar in there. And it keeps the coin safe and protected because you don't want to get your thumb and fingerprint all over those. It's gonna screw up your coin. You're gonna wear it out. Don't do this. Don't rub them. Don't handle them with pliers. Right? Don't store them in the oven. But it's a good idea to protect your coins. There they are. I'm gonna order some more of these so we'll get that going. These stiff plastic, these are safe for long-term storage. There are some less expensive flips you can get, the plastic kind. They're soft. Well, they're less expensive, but they're only good. Don't store your coins in there for more than a couple of years, because there are plasticizers that will come out of there. These old Mylar, these have been a staple for 50 years in the hobby. I made a video where you can actually take a piece of scrap paper and make a little envelope to store your coin in, and that'll get you by as you build your collection. But you can do this with pocket change, all your pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters. $50 is a little more tough. They don't usually spend so much, but you can still get those from the bank. Wow. Whatever every date, you get to 2020. They're not out yet. That's always another month. People are going to start screaming about those. They're going to start hitting the bank, right? So you get to 2019, 2018, 2017, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. Get every date, right? Then you get every mint mark. So you get your Philly, then you got your Denver. You get the Denver for each date. Okay. And keep working your way back. Go back one more year, and there's no end to it. And this is the kind of thing you could spend. Man, the old people like this because you get to spend time with the kids. The kids get into it, and you learn a lot of history about it. Like, whoops, there goes that camera. You learn the history of Abe Lincoln. When was he born? 1809. What did he do? Well, he was president. He lived in a log cabin. He was a state representative for Illinois. And he finally got elected during the Civil War. And then they shot him in the head. Oh, well, that's American history out there for sure. You can follow it back in time and do the study of the history for every design, every coin we ever made. They're out there, man. There's so much to this hobby. Really, I can't really explain it in a 5 or 10 minute video. But we keep talking about it. I'll put down below a whole bunch of links where we can look at coin class, so you can learn some things. You can go look at other videos from other channels where they're offering tips for new collectors. It's an ongoing project we have going on right now. Did I just say that? An ongoing project we have going on? What? I need more coffee. That's all there is to it. I'm going to get over to chat real quick and see what folks are saying. There we go. But coin collecting, it's a hobby that's been around for centuries. It's the hobby of kings. People would collect these things, but a lot of times only the king could afford to keep the coins. Back in 1900, there were two registered coin dealers in the United States. One guy and another guy, and they probably bought and sold from each other. Nowadays, there's tens of thousands. There's coin shows. There's magazines for coins. I had one here. There's books. Here you go. Get the book. This one is photo grade, for example. Jeez. The book a lot of times are worth more than the coins, but it's the information you get out of these books that makes it so valuable. Photo grade by James Ruddy will help you to grade your coins based on the picture. You hold up your coin next to the picture and decide, is it better than this? Is it as good, or is it not as good? Let's see. Let's find them wheat pennies we just saw there. What are these? There's an Indian penny. See? There's the wheat pennies, so you can go and look. You got no letters. You got no lines. Here you got some cheek, no ear. By the time you get into the highest grades, you get every bit of detail that they were produced. Looks like a brand new coin. Look at this. There's 2 cents out there. 2 cents? 2. Yeah. They got to make those again, huh? That'd be pretty slick. They made those during, they started during Civil War. Abe Lincoln was president in 1864 when they came out with the 2 cents, right? It's the first coin they put In God We Trust on, because during the Civil War, well, let's put God on our side, because if God is with us, who can be against us? And that's what won the Civil War. Okay, they got 3 cents. 3 cents, imagine that. They ran those from the 1850s into the 1880s. They made them out of silver, right? Where's the silver? I don't see them in the book here. Okay, we missed that one. And they also made them out of copper nickel. They used to make half dimes, which was half a dime, 5 cents. And they made those since 1793 or 4. but silver started climbing in price, so they went over to a nickel. So for 30 years, you've got two different coins of the same value: a nickel, which is a 5 cent made out of nickel, and a half dime, which is 5 cents made out of silver. Little tiny things. One of the smallest coins we've ever made. All circulating at the same time, right? You see the evolution of the designs from the shield nickel to the Liberty nickel to the, where is it? I know we got a page in here. The Buffalo nickel. That's a truly American coin. The old American bison, right? To the Jefferson nickel. And what happened during the war where you had, geez, you need the nickel because it made the armor harder. So they put more silver into the nickel. Well, they still call them nickel. That's all right. You got silver nickels out there. Some of the old style designs. The books all by itself is an entire hobby unto itself. Gosh, you can collect a library and never have all the books. Get started. You've got some pocket change, I know you do. Why not go through, pick out every date you can, the best one of each date, pick out the mint marks, the best one of each, and just set them aside. Now, from time to time, you'll find a coin that's weird. You don't quite understand. That's funny looking. It looks like it's been, minted twice. It looks like it's a design on top of designs. It's almost like it's breaking my eyes. If you find some weird coins, maybe it's got a big bulge of metal stuck to it, just set it aside, because there's a lot of learning involved in this hobby. In 6 months or a year from now, you're going to know so much more than you do now. So just set those funny ones aside until you can figure out what it is. You'll look at them again later and say, aha, I know what that one is. It's a cud. You'll be able to explain these things and decide if they're worth anything or worth nothing. Shannon McCord says, can't wait to get my Big Show win. I haven't made a video, but when I get them, I'm going to try it out. Let me take a look at the tracking, baby. Let's see if it's been picked up today. It has gone into the mailbox. Let's see. Well, I got a show on Sundays. It's called The Big Show. While this loads up, let me show you I'll give you this. That's not it. Is it in here? No, that's not it. There it is. The Big Show. Most Sundays at 9:30 at night, we have that Big Show. It's a wonderful thing. People send in coins, and they donate cash to the channel. And what we do is we put together a big package, and we give it away. I mean, dude, it's got all kinds of things in there. Aha! It has been accepted, Shannon, at 5:32, which is like during this show they picked up the mail. So that'll go from here. It'll go to Jacksonville, Florida, and then on off to where you are. I forget where you are, but by God, it's on the way. And they're saying it should be there by Thursday, the 23rd. What day is this? Oh, it's Tuesday. Okay, yeah, you should have that by Thursday at 8 o'clock. So it's on the way. Gosh, there's a lot of good stuff. And I know you got a silver in there. You got that big, you got the spider. You got an eagle, right? You got a 1 ounce silver eagle in that package. You have some BU from the 60s and 70s, right? Those eagles are beautiful. There's a big giant tarantula. Well, it's not a tarantula. It's a silver 1 ounce dollar from Australia with a funnel-led spider on it. It's a gorgeous thing. You'll love it. There's a little bit of everything in there. Some buffalo. I think there's an Indian. You'll find out when you get to it. You can always watch a show and find out what was in there, but it's out there. Oh, there's a magazine in there, right? It's the Numismatic News. It's like from June. Open that because I've got some foreign currency somewhere in the middle of that. It's a great way to keep it, protected during shipping. Yeah, but it's in there. It's a lot of fun. What we do with the Big Show is put out a lot of coins. I mean, just Jason with a lot. There's got to be 100 coins in that package. And we get some coins that people may not be familiar with. Some older coins, some rare coins, some more valuable coins. We're putting coins that they, don't have access to, perhaps. pennies are just a start, really. What do you got here? We got, oh, half dollars. Here's Kennedy on a half dollar. This is from 1969, right? That's a 40% silver. Let's see. We got all kinds of stuff. I got more here. I got stuff on this desk. I don't know what it is. Here we go. What's this one? Here's a quarter from 1902. Before Washington was on the quarter, they had a standing Liberty. Liberty, she's standing. She got a shield. She looks real good. And before that was this design. They call it the Barber because it was designed by this guy named George Barber. Here's the scope, and I'll find my little stick. There you go. So that is actually his little designer initial. That's a B. That's not, it's kind of wore out. But here we go. You got Liberty up there. And putting Liberty in the headdress is a tradition goes back for years, for decades. Here's the back on that. There you go. Does that look like the Great Seal, the presidential seal? There it is. Yeah, wonderful old coins. Here's a piece of history. That's a $quarter. If there's a mint mark on these, they tend to be on the back. They'll be right here below the tail. Okay. Here's one. Oh, you like this one. Here's one of those quarters I was just talking about. Same thing. And there's a mint mark. Oh, what? That's not a P or a D or an S. It's an O. That's right. There were actually 9 different mints the U.S. has had. Philadelphia was the first one. Then we opened up a couple down south, right? There was a Dahlonega, which was a D, and a Charlotte. Really? Yeah. That's where we made gold coins because there was a gold rush in the, the 1830s down here, down south in the Carolinas. So they made gold coins. There were assay offices of people bringing the stuff, the gold, and they weigh it up and measure it and give them silver dollars or gold dollars back. And they made more gold coins there. There was one in New Orleans, which is the O, right? But a lot of these, they shut down at the start of the Civil War. Well, you can't have a U.S. mint in the South. That doesn't really work. And they plundered some of the stuff and kept the gold and, drank the rum. There you go. Let's see. There's Carson City, Nevada. There was a big silver strike. No, they weren't marching for better wages. They found silver. And with all this silver coming in, they needed to, well, rather than ship the ore, let's make the coins right there where they got the silver. And that ran for 30, 40 years. San Francisco started up. Denver started up. As the U.S. moved west, we opened our mints to follow the people where the economy was and keep it going. New Orleans, dude, Mississippi River was the biggest trading festival of all time. Good Lord, you got cotton coming down the river, you got wheat coming down the river, you got moonshine coming down the river. It was a major thoroughfare. We didn't have highways. The river was our highway. So having a mint in New Orleans was the thing. In 1898, we had a war with Spain, the Spanish-American War, and we won. We kicked our butts, of course. We got let's see, parts of Cuba. We got Guantanamo Bay there. Remember the Maine, right? You got Teddy Roosevelt running up San Juan Hill. That's all that's all the same war in Cuba. But we also got the Philippines. So we opened up a mint, ready, in the Philippines. It's an M mint mark. And it's the only mint that's ever been outside the 50 states or the 48 states. We never had one in Alaska or Hawaii. We just mail it to them, I guess, or put it on a barge and drag it over. Let's see. So PDS OCC M. Dahlonega was a D. Charlotte was a C. And W is West Point. West Point has been a mint for not too long. It's been an assay office, and then been making gold coins for 15, 20 years or so. I'd have to look that up. I don't know everything, but I know where to look it up. And West Point is making circulated coins this year and last year. They're making quarters, right? You'll find that I had a quarter here, I swear it. There you go. Instead of the S mint mark on the quarter, there you go, right there. It's a W. Aha. And the neat thing with those, they're only making 2 million of them, and they're putting them into circulation. So if you find a quarter with a W on it, People are paying 10, 20, 30, 40 bucks for these things. No fooling. And the better shape it's in, the more they're going to pay. I've got some around here somewhere, but I'm not going to dig them out because, dude, I got no room in the desk as it is. Oh, the hobby, it's got so many different aspects. There are coin shows you can go to, right? Where coin dealers will set up a table, and it's like an indoor festival where you can go from one dealer to the next and see what they have. We'll talk about that another day. And they'll be all over the countries. There's major shows each year. There's the fun show, the Florida United Numismatics. There's the money shows coming up in Atlanta. Jeff Stanley would know more about that. He's right around the area. There's the Long Beach show over in California. And these are some of the biggest shows with some of the most expensive coins that are available out there. They've got auctions all over the place. You can get coins on eBay, Facebook, individual company websites. From YouTube, there are sellers on YouTube that offer coins. I do it every now and again. Gosh, how far can you take your hobby? It will take you wherever you want to, honestly. If you want to make a living doing this, there are some kids out there doing a great job that are learning and really, really applying themselves, and will probably get into this as a full-time endeavor. And you can make a decent, honest living doing this. You don't have to join the gangs. You don't have to wash dishes. Let me catch up on chat. I've been told most banks have or will order them. Yeah, try it. If they say no, go to a different bank. You work, or excuse me, you go to those banks for your convenience, not theirs. And if it's not going to be convenient for them, the next bank over wants your business. Shannon says, Jeff, I watched your video. It's a good one for new collectors. If anyone is a new collector, get over there and check out Jeff Stanley's video. We're putting it together, this project. It's called Tips for New Collectors. And you'll find just below the title of this video is a hashtag Tips for New Collectors. And if you click on that, it should take you to a search on YouTube of all the channels or all the videos that have added that as a hashtag on their video. And the whole idea is to help new collectors, find some channels, find some places where they're going to learn. Because, man, there's so much to learn. Nobody can tell it all. You're not going to read it all in a couple of paragraphs in a book. Honestly, it'll be decades. You can spend your entire life studying coins and never learn it all. There's that much knowledge out there just to learn. Well, what you're going to do as you collect, as you expand, maybe you're into the pennies because they're cute, they're small, they're usually inexpensive. You can get them in beautiful shape. They're accessible. Maybe instead you'll get into older coins. Where you want to put together an entire collection of barber quarters or Indian pennies. Those babies, they're kind of cute. Aren't they cute? Let me get that in a place you can see it. Indian pennies. Something like the Flying Eagle cents. You only need 3 and you get the whole set. Maybe you want a proof on those. They'll be $1,000. Maybe you like dimes. Let me slide this down. Maybe you like old dimes. This is what they made before Roosevelt, right? FDR was president till 1945. He passed away. And they said, geez, he's a good guy. He saved the free world. He did the March of Dimes thing. Let's put him on a dime. It'll be appropriate. Before that was the Winged Liberty. Looks like Mercury because she's got wings. Can you focus? Focus. There she is. That's a bit worn out. The reverse design is very similar to our current dime. Right? They added an olive branch to go with the oak. And they changed the fasces to a flame. You have the Jefferson nickels. There we go. What's that one? That's like 1950s. I can't read that, but that's what the nickels look like when they're brand new. Let's look at the date on that. Here, scope. Brand spanking new, 1955. Good looking nickel. With my pointy stick right there. Okay, this is from a fresh roll, never been opened before. And even then, here's a little knock on his chin during minting. Right, got dumped into a hopper. Another coin fell on top of it. But here it is, brand spanking new. And this was from Denver. All right. They used to put the mint marks on the reverse of most of the coins. Yep, there's that one. Let's see, here's another coin. It's a quarter. That's the wrong picture. This one happens to be a proof strike. The mint each year puts out a special strike that's called a proof, right, where they're mirrored. They use, highly polished dies. They use polished planchets, more pressure, and you end up with this. Let me take it out of there. We can see it better. You end up with a deep mirror finish. I gotta pick that up without touching it. There you go. You get a deep mirror finish. Real beautiful coins, and this frosty cameo effect. No, it doesn't want to. There it is. There's a proof, for example. Gosh, what kind of coin do you want to collect? Maybe it's just the proofs. Well, they're out there. What are these? Let's look at the next stack here. Okay, let's see. Half dollars, nickels, pennies. Yeah, that's what's there. That's what I've got at the ready. Yeah. You get into foreign coins, there's a whole entire another environment when you get into foreign coins. Good Lord. What do you got? 238 countries that exist right now. You got hundreds more that have ceased to exist, have been absorbed or taken over or conquered or just buried by the ocean like Atlantis. If you can get those Atlantis coins, they're worth a fortune, but there's not too many of those. Then you get into tokens, metals, exonumia. There's neat stuff out here. Here's some dimes that were encased in a lucite block. It's a paperweight. Yeah, people collect all this stuff. It's cool. There you go. I want to get a dime tesseract, but unfortunately I'm limited to 3 dimensions. Gosh darn it. Yeah, there's gold. There's platinum coins out there. Platinum. Yeah, there's one back on the desk. I don't know where. The United States have made other metals, like platinum, believe it or not. There are these beautiful things. Look at this. You like dinosaurs? The kids love these. Here's a big piece of copper. Okay, it's not worth a whole lot. It's just copper. It's not made by the U.S. Mint. And it's not going to focus. All right. It's a dinosaur. This comes from a private mint, just a company that makes the darn things. These are, these market for $2 to $5. That's an ounce of pure copper. 1 AVDP, which is French for AVDP 999 fine copper. All right. Where can you take this hobby? Anywhere you want to. A lot of people get involved when they're young, and then life gets in the way. They get married, they go to college, get kids, right? Join the Moose Lodge. And after, things settle down and they get rid of that debt and the truck's running good, then they start to get back into the hobby after, goofing off for 20 years. And that's okay too. Most of the people who watch this channel are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, believe it or not. It's not just for young people anymore. And it's a lot of fun when you get older because you can afford those better coins. You can afford those oldies, the old Indians, the old Flying Eagle sets, the old, the old stuff, the silver dollars. So I'm going to wish you luck with that. Palladium, the United States, do they make palladium? I'd have to look that up. I know platinum, gold, silver, of course, palladium. I'll have to get back with you on that. Let me take a look here real quick. It's a good time for a coffee break. Okay, let's see. Gold, 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 silver. Okay. There's silver, there's gold. No palladium. No palladium that I'm aware of. But there are private mints that produce this stuff. We got a gold buffalo coin that's being produced. Let me pull up a picture of that. Where is that one? Platinum Eagle, gold American buffalo. Here you go. Here's a picture of it. Let me get that. Here's the screen. No, really. They make these. They've been making them since 2008. Ta-da! You got a $5 10th ounce, right? 9999 gold. It's a $50 face value. Right? There's one in $10, $25, $50, and they're making those Yeah, right now up at the West Point produced. Then you get some bullion sets. Let's see, the $5 they made in 2008, $10 they made them in 2008, $25 2008. But the $50 they made them from 2006, and they're still making them now. Handsome piece, wouldn't you say? Yep, that's the old design on the nickel. And they put it over here. Slide that over. There it is. Wow. It wouldn't take much to collect, say, 100 of those. Okay. Well, good luck with your collection is all I can say. Let's see. There we go. Go back home. So I'm going to sign out. I think I've given you just a taste. There's so much more to the hobby. We cannot explain it all in weeks if we tried. There's Cajun Coin Hunter. Good to see you, babies. Nathan says, I have 80% of proof collection, not as many silver proof. Yes, I saw Walking Platinum, $2,300. You know, they took, after, let's see, the 100-year anniversary of the Mercury dime. I just had one of those. Here's one right here. And the Walking Liberty, they made them in gold, right? You know, just for the 1 year, just a collector's piece. They made them in gold in the U.S. Mint. They still have the 10 cents face value on them, but it's made out of gold, so they go for like $250. You like all Buffalo coins? Get the 50. It's a good one. Okay, guys, check out those other channels. Click on Tips for New Collectors. It's right below the video. And if you make videos, why not consider making one where you can offer some tips to new collectors? Yep. And add that hashtag. It'll work out. Vlad says, me too. Have a great rest of your day, gang. Gotta go feed the goats. Okay, guys. I'll see you later. Stay groovy.